All right, welcome back everyone to another lot of technical analysis from myself, Shill Bill for Elite Breeders Club. Going to be looking at all the coins in the Axie universe today and sort of see where they're going, what I'm looking at on the charts, and pretty much where we left off from last fortnight, and sort of seeing what the coins have done since then. Also in that live seminar we do for members over in EBC on the Monday nights, US time, every fortnight. So let's jump in. BTC, always the thing that I'm watching, going to dictate what everything else does in the market, especially things like ETH, SLP, AXS, things that are on big exchanges where there are bots and things would be arbitraged. And a big price movement in BTC will also trigger massive drops or upside in a bunch of the altcoins as well. So BTC, where we were looking last time, I think this is where I did. When's that? 6th of Jan. Yeah, it would have been 14 days ago. So this would have been the last technical analysis video that we popped out. And what I was looking at for BTC, so we were here. I was looking for it to come down, touch this level at that 40k mark where we're watching. If we zoom back over to the left, that was the bottom of this wick here. Bit of structure over there as well, but it was mainly that massive wick we saw here. So I was looking for that, and we got the same wick, but I was looking for that, a bounce, and then down further. So I think especially if we start closing BTC like anywhere between 48 and 40, the more likely that this breaks to the bottom and to the downside. And you can look on 4 hour, like we've dropped. When's this? Since November. So we got November, then December. 3 months. So the last 3 months, super bearish. We've dropped nearly 40%. We had that quick one, and then it's just been a slow bleed. So we're still just in that market structure of lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. You can see I've been watching for downsides ever since we broke this level of support here and retested back at 60k. Do we go to 29? I think if we break through this and this falls, that's the next, that's the next major level is 29k, which is gonna absolutely crush SLP's dollar price. So hoping we don't, and we can bounce from here. But you probably draw a bit of a trend. We're kind of like right on. It's not the greatest of trend lines. Can we do it on the daily? Does it make any difference? Should we pull the line chart out? The daily looks much better doing that way. So we're kind of at the end, right? On the daily here. Just waiting, and if it breaks, if it closes like underneath that 40, 29k is my target from there. But yeah, just market structure. That's what markets do. They go up and down. Topping out at 69k would be hilarious. But yeah, let's see how we go. Could be in for the next bear cycle before we make that next move up. Okay, ETH. BTC pair, sort of still waiting on. I was waiting on that break, but we are now same thing, right? ETH trends so well, especially look at the 4 hour. It just trends so nicely, like high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows. You can just trade it, and it does it all the time. And just wait for that confirmation, and just follow the trend with ETH. There's so much money to be made. And here, broke, just basic market structure. Higher highs, higher lows. Comes back here. Breaks trend, already had like 3 touches on it, comes back, tries to get into trend, rejects twice off of that, comes back down, double bottoms, triple bottoms, another lower high here, and we break through. And if you extend this out, look, it just came back and retested it. So it's like, bounce, fall through, come back, retest. Now it's the same kind of thing here. So we're just waiting for the break of this level. Whoops. If we break this level, same thing happens, right? So if we break, same thing we saw here, break this level, be watching it to come back down. You can see over to the left, come back, retest, same way as we've done there, and just continue the same thing. Come back up, retest that. It's just clean market structure. There's so much money to be made shorting these every time we come up and horseshoe up, but just ETH is such a good coin to be trading with market structure. It just trades so well. And you know, the fact that it's losing sats against BTC now as well, and it's bearish on that, it's really crushing the US dollar price, because it's also copping the downside. You can see here, same thing, right? All this nice clean market structure, and same thing here, just clean market structure. We can probably pull this one out now. We're probably looking at this as a trend. I was hoping that we come back in here and just sort of go sideways, but yeah, we're pretty much bearish since this double top, and definitely bearish since this lower high. The chart that does my head in, the ETH SLP chart. I saw the SLP ETH chart down a good 96%. Again, first time watching this, you know, the key was here at the lower high, and look at the extra volume though since this. So there's heaps more volume, but all that volume is just stacks of selling pressure, because they just fucked the mint up. The mint burned so badly. There's so much. All this red here in this chart, like it's all just floating around. So while the volume's up, it's not good volume, because it's all just sell pressure. Man, it's picked up, and it's just, yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, fundamentally. But either way, we can still trade. The lower it goes, the higher, you know, that's where percentages work. We can drop from here. We can drop from here. You know, we can drop 20% pretty easy. But you know, we go back to these levels, 150. There's a lot more to be made on the way up than there is on the way down, shorting, because you know you got infinite percentage upside. So did post this one up in the members at EVC, and we just had a bit of divergence. All right, so divergence is where we're getting conflicting information between some indicators and the price on the chart. So here we're getting the RSI, we're getting higher highs and higher lows. So this was on an uptrend, bullish. We look at price, and we're on a downtrend. So conflicting views. For divergence, I was like, this is a good sign. We went on the daily. It was horrifically oversold on the RSI. You know, 13. Pretty low on the RSI. Got that nice 9 buy. You know, I think that's probably the worst it's been. So there was so much pointing out that this was going to have some sort of bounce. However, is it going to be the recovery bounce? Is it going to give us the bottom? I still don't think so until they fix that mint burn. But if you're in EBC and you did see my post, I posted at least a couple of times here from the bottom, you could have got, you know, 10, 15% better off. And that's with no leverage to USD chart, would have been different. But at least for here, like there was at least some sort of trade, and just knowing these things, and you know how to read charts and spotting these little opportunities to make 10, 15%. It doesn't sound like much, but if you compound it out, it does work out to be a whole lot. Plus, you know, who doesn't like free money? SLP USD chart is just holding ever so holding this level of support. Let's put that there. Okay, if we lose the point 1.7 cents, yeah, zeros. It's not in the cards, but it's zero's not that far away. He's more volume, which is good, and the fact that it's holding here, it's underneath that 50 moving average still. And if we go back to this pesky chart, this 50 moving average, this is one thing I really want to point out, is that we've been under this 50 moving average for so long since the death cross, and we haven't been able to get past it. This is like August, so 6 months ago, and just haven't been able to get above it. Like we've kind of closed above it on a few, but all these big spikes here and these volume spikes have been from massive news from Axie, or supposedly massive news that didn't change anything. All it did was cause it to have a bit of a spike, let people get some better prices for the SLP when they're cashing out. Now, even here, like we had that massive spike, you see it still closed under that 50 moving average. And again, stayed below. You can go on the 4-hour chart and just look. Apart from these areas here, it's just acted as such a massive point of resistance, and we're finally getting these two to come close together. So what we want is this to breach it back across, and then us be sitting above the 50 moving average and also above the 200 moving average, which will pull into the golden cross. At the moment, we have broken above the 50 moving average, and we are kind of holding it. So we've broken above it, and now it's acting as support. So this does need to create a new market structure. So for me, we need to be closing candles above that 619 ETHs for this to stay bullish. Otherwise, I think we just keep moving down, and we break below this 50 moving average and stay below, but it's going to get stuck behind it. These will slowly pull together at some point, and we'll get that nice golden cross. But until then, not much happening. XS, again, we had these lines here. This is where my original target was this level of support. Broke straight through it. Now it's acting as resistance. So still, for me, nothing's changed with AXS. I'm looking at somewhere between $37 and $50 for my buyers to then chuck in a stake. But at the moment, we never broke the top of that box. When we did, it didn't hold. So, and we're still just sitting on a nice, if we go to the daily, I'm sure it's going to probably look a bit better. Just clean market structure to the downside. I was hoping that broke and went up, but it's just lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. And if we lose this area here, we're coming down to at least 50, if not in the 37s. So I think the team need to pull their finger out, get some land play, get version 2, get something happening, and deal with all this here, because they're losing people to peg Axie very quickly, just because the ROI is better, and they've learnt from a lot of these mistakes. All right, I hope that was helpful. I'll jump in for a technical analysis, a little seminar. We'll go over the charts and have a look, but yeah, pretty much not much happening on them. But I'll see anyone who's jumping in the members on Tuesday my time. All right, laters.